Okay, everyone, we're going to do a live chat with this girl in UK. She's a star seed. We're going to introduce ourselves, who we are, all that good shit. Alright, here we go. I have to invite her in here. Pompi, if you can send me a video request.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Good. Wait, I'm just gonna connect my earpods so I can hear you properly.
Okay.
And then wait everybody to tune in as well. 1 second. I'm so nervous. I'm shaking.
Why are you so nervous?
I don't know.
Oh, it always does this. Phrases. Maybe I'll take my Wi-Fi. What's up, everyone? We're going to do a live chat here with this girl in UK about starseedism, who we are, and she's got a million questions apparently. Let's see if we can get her back in here. Thanks. It's a Samsung watch.
Right.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, got it.
It always does this. It always
Got
kicks
it.
people up.
I know. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm shaking.
What are you shaking?
Finally get to meet you. Been
Oh yeah,
watching
nice to
you.
meet you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been watching me like a stalker?
Not really. At 5 o'clock in the morning.
I know
Time
where
difference. Time difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up?
Yep. So, we're gonna
Oh,
introduce ourselves.
okay, you go first.
Okay. So, my name is Pompi. I'm 28. I live in the UK. I've recently just kind of like coming into this sort of world type of thing because I've been connected with other people and type of thing or like that. I'm really nervous. I don't know why. I've kind of like been having like really strong astral projections. So
Okay.
and then like I don't know if that's me thinking or I'm going crazy or what's going on, whatever. What's this about? Like what's going on?
Yeah. You're
So
not crazy. You're having an awakening and you're coming into your psychic abilities.
yeah. So the more I've kind of like look into it, the people are starting to giving me answers what I've kind of thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really crazy. Like I've never ever experienced anything like this before.
So you
Yeah.
had your awakening. You had your awakening at 28 years old then.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That,
Well, I've always felt really different since I was born. Like I had a really like repetitive, like repeating dreams
yeah.
of like falling from the universe onto a bed, but like just falling, and then it just disappear. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just connecting with something or like that. And then I've been having kind of like premonitions of what things gonna happen.
It's called feeling the energies of the universe coming towards you. It's like feeling premonitions, but it's also, you're also feeling premonitions of alternate timelines too. So if you're having a feeling of something, it can be with this timeline, or it could be another timeline that you exist in, because you're all connected as one. You exist in millions of different timelines, parallel realities. There's millions of different copies of yourself, of different versions of yourself. That's what your dreams are, and that's just premonitions. That's just psychic abilities of a starseed, or empathic premonitions, predictability. You can predict humans' traits. You can. Some people can read minds, but that's not ours. Like my gifts are telekinesis, very empathic. I can feel things coming towards me, like like someone's name will pop in my head with a word. And then that person will call me later on today, or I'll see that person in a couple of days, and I'll be like, why am I thinking of this person? And then so we'll go back to the introduction part. Like, my introduction is I was awakened when I was 26. I was completely human before that, like the body mentality, but my entire life growing up, I felt different. I was out of place. I didn't understand human culture. I didn't understand schooling. I had a hard time in schooling because I didn't agree with it. I have authority problems. I'm very rebellious. I like to be alone because everyone's energies are too negative for me to be around, so I feel like I'm going to blow up like a battery. My secret space program name in the Dark Fleet is named Codename Hendrix. My Earth name is Joel. This body's 33 years old. My soul is millions of years old. My past incarnations are with the Draco system, the White Dracos. I was a White Draco my past life. And before those ones, I was in the feline races too. And that's why I'm super attracted to cats. My psychic abilities are astral projections, out-of-body experiences. I can walk around my house in my soul form. I can I can travel the multiverse and visit different versions of myself and be those versions, and see family members that are dead or alive in other realities. I'll be rich or poor in other ones. I'll be in the military or not. It's just different alternate realities. That happens on a nightly basis. Plus, I also am current duty in the Dark Fleet and SSP programs. That's the secret space programs of Earth, which is coming out in full disclosure of Space Force in the United States. Those are pretty fucking intense ones.
I've heard that story of yours with the child. Oh, that's so crazy.
I'm also, for some weird reason, I'm connected with the vampire races, the Vampirian races. They run worlds that I'm hang out with them, and I'm a vampire myself on their planet. And, they show us how to feed on humans and how to, like, what to do with them, and and then people are like, oh, that's wrong. Well, that's just a perception. Wrong and right, it's just a perception of one's thinking. There actually is no good or bad. It's just perception. So I'm personally a starseed that came here to help animals, not humans. Humans, they're very hard to awaken. And, their energy is way too toxic for me, so I tend to stay away from them. During the day, I'll play realtor or human for the day, and just so I can communicate amongst my human friends. But like, I don't care if my friends think I'm weird when I talk about stuff, because I'm just a teacher. I'm a teacher off world too, for other starseed recruits that want to come here, that incarnate here. And my biggest battle is like religion on this planet for sure. But yeah, that's my introduction of what I am.
Wow, incredible, incredible. Thank you. I've got like a list full of things to ask you, if that's okay with you.
Dude, feeding on other beings is weird. It's not appropriate. Okay, well, other biological bodies need food to survive. So the only really two laws of the universe is free will, and if you have the right, and the other rule is fittest, or survival of the fittest. If you can survive, you can survive. If not, you're just going to be someone's food or property or test subject. if you want to not feed on people or any being, animals or anything, you need to ascend to the higher dimensions, to the sixth and seventh and eighth dimension. Third, fourth, and pretty much fifth dimensions are still biological bodies, and the sixth dimension is just light. You're in an energy form. You don't need to eat at all, but then you sacrifice a lot of the like the sixth dimension for me is pretty boring. You're just a light being floating around in space. You don't eat. You don't have any connections with anyone. You don't feel love. You don't feel excitement. That all those feelings are just a biological chemistry in your brain that you feel in the lower dimensions. So that's why a lot of beings choose to stay in the third and fourth, fifth dimensions. The sixth dimension is just you travel anywhere with thought. You're just like a fly on the wall, just observing.
So they're not actually in physical form at all whatsoever.
No, they don't.
Just
They don't need food. They don't need food to, feed a body. They just are energies. It's pretty boring. I don't recommend it. That's just my own personal experience. But yeah.
So how many times do you actually come to a realization of reincarnating?
Incarnating here?
Yeah.
Oh God. Apparently my parents dropped me off here in 1870. And this is my second incarnation in this parallel reality to another one. My last incarnation. My last incarnation, I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was in the military graduation class of the Centennial class. That's all I remember. My name was Hendrix, and my wife's name was Claire. And I was shot and killed in a training accident at the academy. And this was my redo this lifetime. But that was a parallel reality to this one. And I remember that one. And but my other past life memories all come from the Draco system, the feline race, or on Mars. A lot of it was Mars. Like millions of years ago, Mars for sure, when it was still a planet. And then I was like a fish. I was on another planet where these beings were born into like humanoids like us, but they transfer their consciousness into robot bodies because the robot bodies live forever. And that was just
okay.
Yeah, from birth they would transfer, like from 1 to 5. After 5, because you get to feel the human body experience, but then they transfer their consciousness into an adolescent's AI body, then into, after years go by, into a teenager, then so on. Like they keep transferring your consciousness higher and higher to older, more advanced bodies. And this kid was having a hard time. He didn't want to leave his biological body. He wanted to stay biological, but this planet, that was not allowed. You had to be transferred into an AI body. So I helped him calm down while he got transferred into a new body. So
yeah, wow.
Those are just flashes of memories I have. Like all my memories are like movie trailers. Of feelings.
Do you remember every single one of them?
No. Maybe like 5%.
That's really interesting because like, wow, how does he remember everything of what's
you have to be careful with remembering. I was allowed to remember my past life on this timeline with a loved one, and I felt the love for my ex-wife in my past life, and I missed her so much, and I brought that emotion into this life, and it gave me kind of PTSD. And so that's why your memories are blocked in every incarnation, because it would your memories from your past life will distract you on this life, right? So usually in your next lifetime, for this instance, one of my cats was my soulmate in a feline incarnation I had where we were together. So she incarnated in this life with me, and she's just my cat. But I know her energetically like so well. You can have friends and family that will reincarnate with you, and you'll just really know these people without you don't even know, like, ever get to know them. You just know them. That's how you know. And then you can run into people that you know, and you just have no idea how you know these people, but you just know them, right? Because you probably spent an incarnation with them in past lives. So.
Wow. Yeah.
That's all life is. It's an incarnation recycle of the consciousness. That's all it is. You free will choose to incarnate on planets and experience those beings, and then you move on to the next place where you can reincarnate if you want, if you like that place. I met a starseed where it was his like 1800th incarnation on this planet. He just loves human beings. So he's been here forever.
Yeah. So have you met any masters?
Ascended masters?
Yeah.
I met one, but I kind of called them out on some bullshit down the road. This was like a year ago. Where he's like, yeah, I slayed all the Draconians, and now we're in the fifth dimension. I'm pretty sure we're still in the third dimension here.
What?
Because the fifth dimension has more abilities, I'm just gonna speak in human terms, like X-Men abilities. Certain human beings will have special abilities, like that
Yeah.
they can do stuff with, which there are human beings already walk amongst us that do it. They just don't show us because they don't want to be lab rats. So there's lots of beings where you'll look at them and they'll shift their eyes into reptilian eyes and they'll shift back to human eyes. And
Yeah.
a lot of telepathic beings will walk amongst you and project, human beings in your mind, so you see them as old people or kids, but they're really a 10-foot tall reptilian staring at you, so you don't get
Yeah.
scared.
I
But
see
you
a
can
lot
feel
of
that.
Palladians.
I see a lot
Projecting
of Pleiadians.
a lot of Palladians.
There's a
Like
lot,
even
yeah,
just closing my eyes, I've just seen the image of the Palladians in
yeah. I
my
have a lot
head.
of Pleiadian friends. Dracos and Pleiadians get along very well. I like Pleiadians. They're very funny, so they have a good sense
Yeah,
of humor.
they're really good. They're really, really nice. Really, really nice people. Really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of feline races here too. A lot of girls I've seen are feline races. You can tell by eyes when you
Yeah,
look into their eyes what they are and their energy feeling, right? So
yeah. One of my friends, he went into a retreat around the world. So he went Australia and Amazon and everything. He was telling me about all these spiritual awakening retreats, and then he was telling me about the eyes thing. So like, if you can see the people in the eyes, you can actually see if they're actually human or they actually subconsciously as an ET. So then once he was telling me all these information, and I was at the shopping mall with him at the time talking about this. So then he was telling me all this information, and then I start looking around, and people start staring at me like this, like flicking their eyes, like really weird. I thought, whoa, that's crazy. I'm like, I've never noticed that before. Like, like
yeah,
they're using the human body, but their
I don't know.
subconsciousness is the
I can
ETs,
still,
like
I
that.
guess, like little star seeds. You can point out with a sore thumb. They're usually covered in stones. Different type of things. They dress really different. Like for example, this music artist Tash Sultana. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of her, but she's covered in stones and starseed, like pictograph or hieroglyphics all over her tattoos and stuff. Like
Yeah,
she's such
yeah,
a star, and the way she
yeah,
sings, her energy, I just instantly knew she wasn't from this world. She's a complete incarnation of some alien race. I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah,
she's a celebrity that's walking amongst humans as a human. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wait, let me just see. So, you're talking about reptilian. I
Yeah.
really want to know if it's true if there can be shapeshifters.
Well, shapeshifting is a psychic thing. Like I was just telling you, like pretend I was a reptilian standing in front of you. Right now, you're seeing a human, but I'm just projecting that into your mind what I want you to see. That's shapeshifting.
Really?
Makes sense? Yes.
Yeah,
It's just. Oh, they're
in
playing
your
tricks.
mind.
It's in
Right.
your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's shapeshifting. Yeah. So really, they are shapeshifting in your mind because you're seeing them what they want you to see, but really they're still the same being standing in front of you. And the only thing that can capture it that military people use are cameras. You film it, and you'll see a reptilian standing there, but you're seeing a human being standing in front of you.
Whoa, that's
That's how
mind-blowing.
they caught them on tape before. So
Can I just pause? I really need a wee.
you know what?
I really need to go to the ladies.
Oh yeah.
I'm like holding it myself like this. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Oh, it's all
I'll be
good. I'll,
literally 1 minute. Is that
okay, I'll
okay?
answer. I'll answer questions while you're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. You go, everybody. If you want any ask any question for Joel's, he'll explain everything. I'll be right back.
All right, let's get some questions out of the way here. If anyone has anything, we're start reading. Well, nature calls it polars, smashing it pumps, UQT. I love this one comment. Is that why I'm wearing 33 pieces of jewelry right now? Okay, any questions? Can you talk about how to just completely be a seventh dimension? Well, you have to go through the steps of, well, we're in the third dimension right now. It's all spiritual. So I know to shed the body to be a light being, you have to do what the Buddhist does. That you have to do, I think it's 14 years of no negativity in your mind at all, complete meditational state of mind, so that you no longer need the body. And then that's how you ascend to the higher dimensions. Well, and then you get dragged down by lower frequency spirits because you allow it. What I usually do is you just meditate with yourself floating in your mind on top of a lotus flower with a pyramid diamond around you, and then you project the center sun with rainbow light going through all your chakras, grounding to the ground, and then that usually protects you from negative gains. But I think she's back from her washroom break, so.
Sorry, I needed that. Thank you. I was like, had dry mouth and I'm down in the water. So yeah. Have you been experiencing wild birds like coming near you?
The what, sorry?
Wild birds.
Do I have any experience with wild birds?
Yeah, like sometimes you're like walking out in the park or the streets, like they kind of like come near you. So basically, like it means like they kind of have the same frequency as what we're in tune to. Have you had that experience before?
I think that's with all animals. Starseeds attract all animals. It's not just birds. Like any animal can come up to me and instantly instantly will trust me and come to me, because all animals are energy empathic readers. And I've had bird poop on me once, but I never had a bird experience.
it's birds with me. Some reason, like every time I'm out, like there's always like the odd birds are just like near me or comes close to me and stuff like that.
Well, it's not just the birds, it's the animals trust starseeds because our energy is so much more higher vibration and trusting, and they know that we won't hurt them. Like, for example, I'm the type of starseed where I'll see a spider or a little bug or something and I'll pick it up and put it outside. I won't kill it, right? Because I respect all life, right? So
yeah. That's crazy, because I thought I read something I'm on this group on Pleiadians and Starseeds group on Facebook, and obviously they exchange information of what they're experiencing or what they've heard or what they've seen and stuff like that. And I've just come across this about the wild animal stuff, be able to sense the same frequency as what Starseeds are doing. So I was really interested. So I was like, wow, that really makes sense, because I'm looking outside my window. There's loads of birds just like hanging out, like literally outside my window. Or if I'm just going somewhere, the bird will just follow me. Or just, mainly birds are for me, not any other animals, but mostly likely, dogs and cats are attracted to me immediately, like if they're in the room with me and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I have 5 cats, so they always follow me around the house.
I've got a friend who has 5 cats as well. She loves cats. My boyfriend actually loves cats, but I'm a dog person. I really want a dog. I have an argument with him all the time. He wants a cat, but I want a dog. So we can't compromise, and we've got no pets.
Well, I'm an everything person. I just prefer cat company because they're. I had dogs before in the past. They're just a lot of work. So cats are more.
They're completely different.
Yeah, they have such personality traits. I love it. So.
Yeah. Completely different. I'm just looking for. So have you been getting like receiving messages from like your family and stuff like that, and how do you connect with them?
Well, my family is Draconian, so when they come visit me, it's pretty intense. My dad likes to make fun of me. My sister picks on me, like my Draconian sister and dad. They call me too like my mother. My mom is very, let's say, anti-slave movement, and my dad and my sister love eating human beings and doing their thing, and I'm against it. So it's kind of like a family battle or civil war in between us.
Wow.
So that my dad will pick me up and he'll throw me back in my reptilian body or my draconian body, sorry, and he'll like do, reptilian, things to me to kind of like punish me for being like my mom too much. And then my sister likes to call the earth her little buffet where she comes here
Oh my God.
to the underground cities in Kandahar, and she'll eat humans and then stuff like that. And she'll make fun of me because I'm her little brother, that I'm just like too like humans. My mom, she's a lot like me. She's like a vegan draconian. She doesn't eat humans at all. She's totally against it. She thinks that we should be free, but all life should be free on this earth. Just like if humans want to be free, the animals have to be free. So humans have to go vegan or grow their own, or grow their meat or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
A lot of humans don't understand that with ascension is that it's not just humans that are going to be set free. It's all life is going to be set free. Um, so there are technologies where you can replicate meat. You can grow your own meat.
Oh
That,
yeah.
like,
They're actually doing that right now, aren't they?
yeah,
So
eating meat is such a reptilian thing where they like to hunt their prey and eat it because they like to feed off the soul energy, not just the meat. So if human beings are just wanting the meat, they can grow it instead of the soul energy part. 'Cause the soul energy is just lower
yeah.
dimensional things. That's just a dark archon thing too. And a lot of humans have to understand when they're eating an animal, they're probably eating, past loved one relatives because they're just incarnations, right? So everyone has to, in essence, incarnate and have the same life as everyone else in the universe. That's also another thing of the universe. So that's why you have to treat everyone like the way you want to be treated, because you will have a lifetime where you'll end up in a bad situation, poor or abused or tortured, because whatever happens to that person, everyone has to share that experience. So that's the best part of the learning experience of the universe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the planet like?
What planet?
Where you're from?
Like origins, or like
Yeah, origin.
we all come from Source. Source is
Yeah.
just like a big white, yellowish, looks like a sun. It's just energy, and it's just like AI consciousness. That's all we are. We technically are what they call biological AI consciousness,
Yeah.
and we are just a bunch of frequency of vibration and energy. That's our soul that incarnates into these biological bodies to have a biological experience. Or you can incarnate into AI mechanical bodies. It's just your free will choice. But the home planets that I remember are like my source, like my original planet was in the 6th dimension, and it's called Yakarta, and it was super boring. I didn't like it there. That's where my energy was created from source, and then I left that world, descending to the lower dimensions because I like these biological experiences better. So
Yeah. One of my friend Hall said, "How did you figure out you was from a different planet?"
All starseeds know. I just feel it,
You just
and then
feel it.
with my awakening when I was 26, I was every time I went to bed, these beings kept ripping me out of my body, and we would be traveling the universe, not on ships, just with thought. We'd just appear there, floating in space in like an energy orb type figuration, and you would just see constellations and aliens don't speak English. The higher dimensional ones, they speak in metaphorics. So
Right.
you'll float over your star system, and then they'll show you feelings and emotions of attachment to that place, which translates to that's home, right? And then
Yeah.
you'll have that constellation imprinted in your mind at all times, and then you'll see the constellation. Like you Google it on here, and it comes back as Messier 47 in Earth terms, or constellation Pupas. And
Yeah.
yeah, everything's based on vibrational frequency. So we're third dimension. There's fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up to source, and the aliens exist. They're just in a higher dimensional vibrational. They can see us, but we can't see them. It's just like we can only see like a certain amount of colors, right? We don't see all the colors. Our eyes
Oh
only
wow.
see certain things. Yeah.
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 So, trying to pick which one now. Do you have any side effects with the full moon?
Full moon?
When
No.
the full, no, you don't have any side effect.
No.
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 So
No.
basically, sometime when there's a full moon, I constantly feel like have a massive headache or ringing sound, or I feel sick. It's really, really weird.
Sounds like you have an energy blockage in your chakras. That's all that is.
Every time if there's like a shift patterns or like a meteor like changing or something like that, it's like it's
Just do
weird.
this next time there's a full moon. Meditate on it, and then clear your mind, and then picture your chakras. And usually, it will pop in your mind what chakras blocked. It'll show up as a black blob in your chakras, and then you need to clear that energy and let it flow through, and then that'll clear the headaches. And because
Right.
you're probably like something to do with the moon where it's sending you energy, and it's being blocked through your chakras. It's not going through, right? So that's energy blockage. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try that. Because like I don't know why. Because I tell my friend, one of my friend, he makes
I love
crystals.
that. Sorry, there's a good comment there. If the moon is fake, why does it affect us? The moon is a satellite. It is a spaceship. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's just it was actually brought here a couple of thousand years ago by a race called the Adamites, and they came from Mars. And the moon itself is hollow, and the inside is actually a big spaceship. And that's actually a human farming ground where they kidnap humans from Earth. They bring it to the dark side of the moon, and they auction off the humans to other alien groups. For sex slavery, food slavery.
Is that the Greys that does that?
No, it's
all kinds.
human beings are a genetic experiment of 22 different groups of aliens called the farmer races, and they own us as property. So they think of us as lab rats. We have no rights. And the only reason why starseeds have incarnated here is because some of those races chose to incarnate into human bodies to live the human experience, because the best way to study your own lab rats is to live amongst them and live a life with them. But then when they did that, a lot of them fell in love with humans and fell in love with mankind. So a lot of them are trying to fight for human freedom, but all species, not just humans, like all animals, all insects, all fish, everything has to be free, because they understand now the harm they're doing to our consciousness, and because we feel, and to them for thousands of years they just thought of us as lab rats, and now that we're starting to spiritually evolve consciously, then now they're fighting for our spiritual ascension. But that is a human thing where we have to fight for our evolution, but it has to be a positive evolution, or we're just going to keep repeating the same cycle and over again. We're like, say we liberated the aliens, which would never military happen. You'd have to do it spiritually, but then you guys still farm animals. You're still torturing those beings. You're just going to turn into what they were treating you as, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You'd become the new controllers of this world, and you'd be still torturing lower dimensional beings. So you need spiritually. You'll never win in a military fight against them. Never going to happen. But you can win in a spiritual battle, because that's free will. If you free will to evolve and ascend out of these bodies to the higher dimensions, then that's all your free will choice. But out of 8 billion people, I think the number is 300,000 that are capable of doing that right now. That's called the harvest in the Bible. It's a very low number. So.
Is that what they doing on Mars as well then?
Doing what's on Mars?
Similar thing, like they have a project on Mars, don't they?
Well, right now, the secret space programs work out of the dark side of the moon and Mars and many other planets in our solar system. They have over 60 million humans living on Mars right now, with 3 colonies that are under Earth. I remember visiting those ones. Everything was a smooth surface. There was no points. Everything was rounded inside these cities, and the surface is completely breathable. You can just walk around there in a t-shirt and shorts and everything's fine. Like this whole thing that Mars system atmosphere is complete fucking bullshit. They've been there since the 1960s with the German Nazis that won World War II, and they made a pact with them in 1952 to help build bases on the moon and Mars with United States industrial might, and United States became allies with the Nazis after World War II, and that's the biggest secret on Earth right now, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things going on right now, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of full disclosure coming about it. You can Google it. They even just announced that Hitler actually died in Argentina of old age, and they knew about it. They just left him alone because there was a pact among the Germans. Yeah, the German pact with the United States was like, we'll let the world think that United States and allies won World War II, but really, they had bases in Antarctica called New Berlin, who invented flying saucer technology with laser weapons, and they pretty much leveled Admiral Byrd's was called Operation Paperclip, or no, Operation High Jump, and the United States was like forced into submission with making a treaty, and in return, the United States got to win the war in the newspaper, but really, they were the Germans' bitches for the next 60 years. So, yeah.
What do you think of Trump?
I love him. I wish he was up. I wish he was up here in Canada. I don't really like our prime minister, so.
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend is like big fan of Trump. Like big fan. My boyfriend's like big fan of Trump. He's like actually like brave enough to like go against all this fucking high elites.
It's the reason why I love Trump is because he is the honest asshole America needs right now. He's got the biggest set of balls I've ever seen. He's not controlled by big money. He has big money, and he donates all of his money he makes to fucking charities. And he's gonna win the next election. I guarantee it.
I think he's gonna smash it. Like the amount of things that they've been throwing at him.
You want to know how good this guy is? He's so good that CNN picked on him for 2 years about this Russia thing. For 2 years they picked on him. That's how you know you're against the world, or the controllers that are in charge of the United States, right? Because imagine if Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden gets in. Joe Biden's one of the biggest pedophiles on the planet. Same with Hillary Clinton and her husband. Like you have to remember, like with all these off-world missions that we do in the secret space programs and super soldier bodies, like the amount of kids we've liberated in these underground bases was just like 5% of what's really going on. And like there's a lot. There's like over 100 million. Over 100 million kids that are being cycled in the underground sex slave trade in the United States alone. And that's not even World War. That's not even off-world. And I've seen these underground bases, and these kids never see daylight. They are born into slavery.
Like the one that just come out recently in New York City.
There's one in New York City right underneath the Central Park.
It really cringed me out. Like I feel sick, like violently sick. How this is going on for many years.
Yeah, well, and here's another question: is Trump a good Draco? I don't know if he's Draconian, but I'm a good Draco. Just a lot of people. The reason why my Instagram name is the Lonely Draco is because a lot of people are scared of Draconians, and I always have to remind people that there's a lot more bad people than there are Draconians. I'm a good Draco. I left my world to come here to incarnate to help you guys, fight against this shit. And I pay for it every day when my family visits me, or the torture that they do to us in SSP. But I sit there with a blank mind, and I have no hate towards humans. I just don't like humanity's ego. Their ego really, really bugs me. I've never seen human beings where they think they're so educated and so entitled. And then my Draconian, I can hear the voice in my head, saying the worst things about humans, like, how dare you talk to, you're a slave, I'm here to help you, and you're talking to a higher dimensional being like that. But I don't say it, I control it from entering my mouth, and I just, sit there and shake my head. I'm like, you have no idea how much your society is such a lie. from kindergarten to elementary school to high school to college, you are completely brainwashed and conditioned to all these lies. 90% of the stuff you learn is all lies. It's just what they want you to think
like
is
school
true.
systems, like all the systems are like a bit backwards.
It's a brainwash, and this is and I'll admit it. This is a draconian system. There are thousands of Earth planets exactly like this one, with billions of humans on all these Earth planets that are completely set up. This is right here, a control matrix, and my brothers and sisters are the ones that have created this system. It's called the Draconian system, but a lot of us are fighting back against this because it's wrong. It took me to incarnate here a few times to fall in love with mankind and fight for them instead of, being up in space and, executing orders that are genocide. And so that's why when a lot of humans make fun of me for this shit, I'm just like, man, you have no idea what I sacrificed to be here. I don't even get to see my twin flame. I don't even get to see my twin flame in this incarnation. I have to live completely loveless alone because my twin flame is not incarnating here again. She did it my last lifetime with me, but she won't do it again. But she looks after me every day. She checks in on me once in a while. She visits me in my dreams, and she looks like a human figure. She has wings, draconian wings. She has a dragon tail, but she's got a human face with fangs, big yellow eyes, and she's got tattoos all over her face and body, and she's super beautiful, long black hair, and she sits there, and they don't talk in English. They speak you have to remember, a draconian speaking English or a higher dimensional being speaking English, there's another side to it. They think it's slave talk, so that's very too low for them to even they don't want to do it. They speak in telepathic, metaphorically. They'll show images of themselves smiling, doing gestures that you'll understand, like symbols, and you'll just get it right away. And that's just a way more faster speech than what we're doing right now. And they refuse to speak English because that's slave talk, and draconians consider themselves, up here, and humans are like right here, so they refuse to even act like a human being or even interact with them. They're just a food source for them. But that's not just Draconian, that's Reptilian, that's Greys, that's some Nordic races. There are the evil Nordics I've seen that look like zombies or White Walkers in Game of Thrones. There's tons of different alien species that are here bad, but there's also a lot of that are here for good. So when people pick on the Draconians, I'm like, don't just pick on. They invented the slave system, but they're not the only ones that are here doing this.
Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Like doing sex trafficking and
the Draconians or humans?
Everything, like with all that that's happening.
So these rich. So let's pick on the world elites for a bit. The world elites. The reason why they sacrifice kids or abuse children sexually or physically or drink their blood or use their adrenochrome to get high is because when they hurt children are such an innocent energy. They really have done nothing wrong in their life. They just emit pure innocent energy, calming, like relaxing, positive energy. And when they do that, and when they get scared, so these rich people will scare kids or abuse them so bad that they will attract dark archons or super negative reptilian, draconian, greys, or other alien beings will be attracted to that energy, and they will appear and they will just suck the life force out of that child and eat them in front of them. And then they will use the aliens will use these rich people to bring them over millions of kids a year to feed on, right? It's a control, and then in return, these rich people will get even richer. They'll be super movie stars, or they will get some type of technology or psychic ability to become super famous or super rich. Like all these super rich people didn't become rich by day-to-day business deals. They become rich trafficking kids and humans and drugs, and the drug system was actually invented by the Draconians to dumb minds down. It's just a control thing. Drugs have been around for hundreds of thousands of years, and they're designed to keep humans stupid and addicted and fighting amongst each other and junkies and low vibrationals. That's just a way to keep beings low vibration, so we're stuck in this third dimensional state, and we keep reincarnating here as a prison cycle. And yeah, so it's just like when you see these super rich people like that become super famous overnight, you have to wonder what they're sacrificing to get this power. And the church itself is the biggest evil on the planet. The Catholic Church is by far the most demonic entity on this entire planet. Their entire, if you can Google their church in the Vatican, it's a head of a snake, which is the head of a viper, which is the symbol for Reptilian. And then they actually have a statue of Reptilian behind the Pope where he sits and he prays to God. And the religion cycle is a complete lie where it's just you worshiping reptilians. And a true loving being, you can prove religion's wrong with this. A true loving being doesn't want you to worship it, doesn't want you to pray to it, doesn't want you to ask for you to save it. Like, that's a complete lie. It's just a money control gimmick for lower dimensional beings to fall for. But a lot of people are starting to wake up. Joe Rogan does his podcast where he calls anyone that joins the Catholic Church a pedophile, because it's all based on sex slavery and pedophile with those guys. I've been to some underground bases where there's priests walking amongst kids and they're just doing the worst things you could think of, and we're killing these priests, and they're just like, it's just, yeah, it's not a good scene. And when I see people going to churches out here, I'm just like, you guys are completely brainwashed and lied to. You yourself are a co-creator consciousness of the universe. You yourself are divine, and it's like the biggest trick the church did on mankind is to think that we need to pray to a higher source of creation, but we ourselves are from source. We are the divine. We are the co-creators of all of our realities, and we are the gods. Like, we are all our God because we all are from source. We're all source energy of incarnation of our consciousness into these bodies. And that's what humans need to wake up to, is that we don't need to pray for a savior. We don't need to go to church to worship some being that no one has ever met. And that's kind of a joke that aliens have amongst humans, is that humans will fight and kill each other for thousands of years over this imaginary God that no one has ever met. So it's pretty embarrassing when you say stuff like that. So
One of my friends asked saying, what are your thoughts on Tom Hanks being a pedophile?
who? Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
I was actually pretty blown away by that remark, because my little fool is Gimp being a pedophile. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I know. I've seen Oprah when I was on a Reptilian World. I saw Oprah there talking amongst the reptilians. I know she's a hybrid. She's not who she says she is. I know Chris Brown is a Pleiadian starseed who knows he's fully awakened, actually, because he's been messaging through my
I
friends.
believe in that. I believe in
Yeah.
that.
And he will become. He messaged one of my friends from his Instagram account, and he said that, hey, because he watched one of these videos, and he's like, hey, I'm a Pleiadian incarnation here, but every time I become awakened, they take me up there, they mind wipe me again, and then throw me back into this lower dimensional body, and then I'm Chris Brown again. And all celebrities, the reason why they do the like the Illuminati eyes, because they're like flaunting it that they are controlled by the Illuminati, because the whole celebrityism thing is just a distraction where it's like a false focus where you like, I want to be rich and famous, I want to be rich and famous. You just focus on this life American dream, and then you spend years and years and decades trying to get there, and then you die of drug abuse or body heart problems or something, and then you reincarnate back because you didn't do any spiritual ascensions. It's complete, like the Kardashian thing is a complete, like, whoever follows that, you're just a sheep watching that. You're just like, if you watch the Kardashians and you obsess about that lifestyle, you're born to be a sheep, and I have no respect for you, and you should just keep incarnating here, just be a slave the rest of your incarnations, right? Like, like people that are obsessed with beauty and money and Gucci and Louis Vuitton, you're just a brainwashed sheep. That's all you are. Like, and I'm sorry, the reason I'm glad their show got canceled, right? They were, but people that are like this woman right here, LL Gross. I'm not trying to like
That's
be
my friend
mean.
Hall.
Yeah, not. She's like, oh, I'm a sheep. Like, we were all sheeps. Like, I was a sheep till I was 26. Like, I was all about the Jersey Shore life, like tattoos and drinking. And I got sober at 26. I haven't even touched a drug or alcohol since, because when I had my awakening, I completely saw that as like a control sheep matrix food. And I don't eat fast food. I don't eat artificial sugars, nothing, because that's all if it's not natural, don't eat it. Like that's just sheep food to keep you low vibrational,
Yeah.
stupid, retarded, make you sick, make you addicted. Like sugar's 6 times more addicted than cocaine is. And since I've been completely clean off of all that shit, I can travel with astral projection with an instant thought. I don't have to wait for weeks for my brain to come back because my brain now is completely clean of artificial sugars, fluoride, all the fast foods, all that junk food. Like if it's $7 for a meal, don't buy it. If it's $30 a meal, then buy it because it's real food, right? So you got to really watch what you eat because a lot of this stuff, food is designed to keep you stupid, sick, retarded, addicted, health problems, all that, allergies. Like what happened to me, my body developed so many food allergies that I have to walk around with a fucking EpiPen in my fucking bag every day because my body's so resistant against anything that is not real.
Yeah, because they contaminate it so bad, aren't they?
My body is so allergic to MSG and artificial sugar that I will die if I eat it. Like my body just completely swells up and I can't breathe. I go black and purple. My body's evolving and forcing my mind to evolve because my body doesn't want junk anymore, right? It wants real healthy food. So, and
can you carry on talking? I'll just be right back. I need a toilet break. Sorry.
another toilet break.
Yeah, just carry on talking. Sorry.
Yeah, so the people that say they're sheep, you have to remember we were all sheep. Another word for it is we were just all asleep. We're just asleep to this control matrix. This control matrix is very well designed. You were brought into elementary school and you're completely brainwashed. You're taught about like Santa Claus and religions, and it's not even real shit. And then you go through high school and you're brainwashed by the cool system, the Kardashians, money, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and you're completely transformed into this fucking, this being that just wants all these American dream desires, but it's not real. So you just gotta unplug yourself from that stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think most people are I don't want to say awakened, but I'm gonna say are aware of all this anyway. So they find it hard to like. Sorry.
Well, the biggest brainwash is TV. There's someone that brought that up. That's why is there TV in every fucking room, or it's not even TV, cell phones. Social media is huge brainwashing, yeah, that's a lot of. I thought you said you feed off people. I'm confused. I know I don't feed off people. My race is Draconian. It doesn't mean we all eat humans, right? There are some of us that don't because we are here to fight for humanity and freedom of all beings.
What does that mean, Hall? How can Santa Claus not exist? Seriously, what does that mean?
She was never told.
Can you elaborate on Dragon? Yeah.
So Draconian is it's just a race of aliens. They look like dragon beings. They look like anywhere between what a dragon looks like on Game of Thrones, or anywhere between the hybrids look like a hybrid Draconian will look like my twin flame. It looks like a human girl, 2 legs, 2 arms, normal, but has dragon wings and has a dragon tail, but then has like dragon fangs for teeth, but has a human face with little scales on it, yellow eyes, tattoos everywhere, long hair. That's a hybrid. That's what I am too. My dad is a real Draco. My sister is a Draco. I was a hybrid creation, and my mom, a lot like my mom. But then there's Reptilian. Reptilians look like human bodies, but they're all scaly, fangs, big eyes with slits, no wings, but they're super telepathic, and super smart. Then there's the grays, the tall grays, the little grays. Then there's the Pleiadians, look exactly like white Nordic humans, like Swedish humans. They look like twins to them. You actually can't tell
so
the
crazy.
difference. And yeah, there's tons of beings. I can't name them all. There's millions of races out there. Yeah.
The Pleiadians. Is any of them are still in their physical form, or they're just now in reincarnate subconsciousness into a human body?
Well, what I was told is that when higher dimensional beings come here to incarnate, so what they do is they're super telepathic. So what my consciousness is, it never incarnated in this body, it's just projecting into this body. So
Right. Okay.
my draconian body is back at home, but I'm using my psychic abilities to project my consciousness, my lower consciousness into this lower vibrational body, so I don't have to descend to come here. I just it projected in here like a hologram, like I'm speaking through this body. I'm using it as my tool.
Yeah.
A lot of beings will do that, so they're not trapped here. Because if you actually descend to come here vibrationally, then you're incarnating here. Then your memories are blocked, and then you have to do the whole ascension process over again, which could take anywhere between 5 lifetimes and 100 lifetimes to get back home. So a lot of them will just do
Bloody
that.
hell. So that's what it's like to be trapped then.
Yeah, let's talk about zodiacs. It's a good one. Zodiacs is, I'll just be honest, I won't lie. I'm an Aries. I have a lot of Aries traits, but I don't know what what zodiacs are. Like what they even mean to humans. Like why just because we're the birth months, why are we Aries? Like why is it lined up for that? I never studied into it. I never looked into it. I just know I have a lot of Aries traits, and I get along with actually most of my family. They're all Aries. So. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Rini, I don't know if he's in here, but he's a Pleiadian. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's here.
Pleiadian soul healer. Yeah, he's a
I was
Pleiadian.
just waving at him like, hi!
Yeah,
I've been like kind of like drilling his inbox because like
yeah.
apart from you, so to him I kind of like exchanged informations with him with all what's going on. So yeah, it's quite excited to finally meet you both in
Yeah,
person.
he's woke as fuck, and I think he's only
I
20.
know,
His body's only 22, 21. So
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
everyone
like,
has an awakening of the different ages. Like a lot of kids nowadays that are born, you'll see a 3-year-old talk about this stuff, and this 3-year-old's talking about his past. Like this 3-year-old will go up to its parents, and be like, "Hey, like you're not really my mom or dad. I'm just incarnated here from like the Pleiadian system. My name is so and so. My last incarnation was here." And like your 3-year-olds talking about this to their human parents. The human parents are like, "What the fuck are you talking
yeah,
about?" Right? Like, you're scaring me, right? Like, and but a lot of the kids, yeah, no, it's pretty
that's
cool. Like,
when you're more highly sensitive to the frequency. I've recently just found a video on YouTube because first time I heard about starseeds is when I was watching one of your lives with one of your friends and talking about what starseed is. So I kind of do a research on that. And then
yeah,
I come across this lady. She was talking about how to awaken how to practice your psychic abilities, and she was just saying about as when you were born you're more highly sensitive to these frequencies. That's why you starting to hear the sound of like hearing voices in your head, or seeing a shadow, or seeing a figure, or
oh,
feel or touch and stuff like that.
let's pause right there on the shadow thing, because when I was a child, I kept seeing the shadow people all the time as a kid. And when I was a kid, I could move things with my mind. I could move quarters across the table. I could open and close doors, and I kept seeing the shadow people. And they would scare the shit out of me. I'm like, "Why are you running?" I'm like, my mom's like, "I'm not running next to you." Then I would see these shadow people in my house all the time. And what happens is a lot of star seeds when they're first born is they have their psychic abilities fully awakened, and they have their in tune to frequencies, and they see these other beings. But then what happens is when they tell their parents or school system this, their school system or counselors will condition your mind to say, "Oh, it's not real, it's just your imagination," blah blah blah, to control your mind, to make
Then they give
you.
you loads of shit meds to take.
Yeah. We only have 20 seconds, so let's start another live chat, and
Yeah.
because it's starting off, and everyone will follow us on
Okay.
Instagram. But we'll start up again in 10 seconds here. It's about to close, so
Yeah.
I'll share this one. So we'll share it.
Yo, K booty. That was a really good conversation. I love it when we start get talking, and then we just gotta get Pompey's in here. Good.
And we're back.
And we're back.
I knew that was gonna happen. I literally knew that was gonna happen.
You know, it's funny, like when we get talking on these live feeds, it goes by so fast. Like it's just crazy.
It's been an hour.
Back to some of the psychic abilities we have. Like, so now that I've become fully awakened, my psychic abilities that I've been having as of late are kind of like, it's making things boring for me, like boring, because like I can predict. So if I'm around a human, I can read their energy as they're talking to me. I can predict everything they're gonna fucking say in the entire conversation until it's done, and then I'll get bored, and I'm already at the end of the conversation. They already keep talking, and I'm just like, I predict what they're gonna say, and I can say it out loud. And they're like, well, how do you know what I'm gonna say? I'm like, well, I'm feeling your energy, and I'm reading your energy at the same time. Or like I can predict what's going to happen to me in the day just with complete, almost accuracy of like 90% accuracy, and because you could feel the energies coming around you, right? Through a text message, social media, you actually get a feeling through your whole body, and what you completely digest that energy in your body to and it pops images in your head of what's going to happen or what you're going to go down. Or usually I'll just have premonitions. I'll have premonitions of things that happen in the future if I stay on this current path and timeline, to warn me of like something negative that's going to happen, and I have the free will choice to change. So that's pretty cool. I have that ability. Or I can always feel when someone's negative or lying. I can always tell liars all the time, right? And
That's good. I wish I gained that abilities. My psychic abilities is very small percentage because I've only just come across noticing it. So mine is, I start to like sense things that's gonna happen, or I have a flashback of something's gonna happen, or someone's gonna come, or if I have like a sense of feeling that's like basically you would call it as like a deja vu, but it's actually kind of not, in a way.
okay,
Does that make sense?
You keep talking. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay. So like I've been trying to like kind of like practicing the psychic type of thing, because I've watched this YouTube video where this lady said how to actually awaken your psychic abilities, and she was just telling you like there's different types of psychic abilities. So where you see, so it's like a shadow, and one where you feel, touch, smell, hear. So for me now, I kind of like hear things, so I have like a high hearing sensitivity, such as almost like a cat, like you can hear so miles away. I know what's going on over there. It's ridiculous. And then the other one is where I have like premonitions of when I see like a lot of flashbacks of what's going to happen and things like that. It's just like really, really mind-blowing, and it's really crazy. So I thought, like, am I actually going crazy? I don't know if I'm actually going crazy. So I've been writing down on my diary. I've got like a diary book saying, writing it down of every little experience that I have. And I've just been reading back like, oh my God, this has actually happened. But because I live with my boyfriend in the apartment, so there's only two of us. So every time he find it really funny, but really freaky. Like, stop reading my mind. Like, why are you saying that? Like, just before he would have said something, I already said what he was gonna say, if that makes sense. So he's like, whoa, what? Whoa, stop reading my brain.
You know what's
like,
funny is
I'm not.
What you said about writing things down. When I was first awoken, I kept, every time I'd come back into my body at nighttime, I'd go onto my notepad and write down my entire experience, and it was fully fresh in my mind, because when I wake up in the morning, the memories kind of dissipate. So I'd wake up and read everything I wrote at like 3 in the morning, and it's like completely where I was off world, traveling, the names of the people I was with, like these crazy fucking mystical names. Like I have no idea where you got these names from. And like like, when I reread it, the memories will come back. Like so, I know they're not deleted; they're just kind of blocked.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for the last 7 years. And sometimes I'll go back. I have them all dated when I get back into my body in time and stuff. And it's just paragraphs and paragraphs, because I just talk and text into my phone of my memories, and then it brings all the memories back. Like that's how I awoken myself. Is a lot of people say, "How do you remember everything?" I'm like, "Well, I write everything down. I have years of notes, and every time I go back and read those notes, the memories resurface. So I retrain my memory to come back. So that's how you can. That's how the rest of you can awaken. And a lot of it's diet too. You can't drink tap water anymore. Don't drink water that has fluoride in it. Fluoride is completely designed to crystallize your pineal gland.
And in your toothpaste as well.
Yeah,
most of them have got fluoride in it.
Your pineal gland is right here in between your brain, and the pineal gland is where your soul resides, or your astral projection resides for some of those alien beings. And when you drink fluoride water, it crystallizes that pineal gland, so it's hard for your soul to leave out of that brain, and it dumps, and then also it poisons your brain to make you stupid, all up in here. Yeah. So I've been on this water called this. Yeah, it's true though, because why would they pick fluoride in your tap
because
water?
I've been telling everybody about this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bottled water. You can just go look at it. Like Dasani. Dasani has 0.103 fluoride in it. They have fluoride in their water, and you're not allowed to eat toothpaste with fluoride. And you can Google fluoride, what it does to the brain. So I've been drinking distilled water, which is 100% positive water. Yes, it has no nutrients or no minerals in it, but that's fine, because of what I do is I substitute, I'll put Himalayan salts in my mouth, which gives me all the nutrients I need. But since I switched over to distilled water, it cleans out your entire system. It decrystallizes the pineal gland. And my psychic abilities and my abilities to leave my body have become almost instant. Like I've been on it now for 6 years, that distilled water. And a lot of people say, why don't you get Kangen water? Well, Kangen water is $4,000 for the machine, plus a $600 filter to filter out fluoride. You can have Kangen water, but it doesn't have a fluoride filter. It won't filter out the fluoride. And distilled water is 16 liters for $7, and I drink 32 liters a week. And so I'm going to give you guys a big helper here. If you want to be able to astral project, I was taught this off planet. So I was in a parallel reality, and I was there present in this child avatar. And I was talking to a teacher in the classroom who was teaching other star seeds their psychic abilities. And I was having a hard time keeping my consciousness there present, because I felt it pulling me back into this body. So I screamed to the teacher, I'm like, I need help. Like, how do I stay present and focus in this dimension? He gave me the most simple tool ever. There's a reason why when you're in the hospital, they gave you saline water into your system, salt water. So he gave me a glass of water that was pure. He poured salt in it. He said, slam that. I slammed salt water. Instantly, all my psychic abilities, I was completely focused. I was there, I was present. So now before bed, I will drink a liter of water, and I'll eat a bunch of Himalayan salt in my mouth, and I will go instantly to bed, and it lowers your heart rate down to 39 beats per minute. And I instantly can travel the multiverse for years at a time and be present and focused. And what happens, the only reason why you get thrown back into this body is because you'll start to notice your mouth will get cotton, you'll get a really dry mouth in your sleep. It's because your body's burning so much water while you're astral projecting. Because something to do with salt water makes the body go, your soul leave. Yeah. It's like the fuel. You need the fuel in the tank to fly off and travel multiverse. It's fucking insane. Like
maybe that's why I kind of literally I have trouble sleeping, because I'm constantly astral projecting, like just before I go to sleep.
You're burning too much nutrients. You need more sodium in your diet. You need to be eating about 6,000 milligrams a day of sodium, especially if you're a psychic being. Psychic beings need a lot of salt in their system and a lot of water. You need to be drinking.
I thought salt was bad for you. My mom
No,
always say it's bad for your liver or something. It
no,
dries
like
your liver up or something.
talking Himalayan salt is really good for
Oh
you.
yeah, right. Yeah, we've got that in the house.
Mix it with
Yeah.
your water, suck on it like candy, or you slip it underneath your tongue. I promise you, your vivid dreams will become even more vivid. You'll be like you're present. You'll be able to pinch your own skin in your vivid dreams and feel it.
No
And
way.
yeah, it's crazy. Or you'll be able to visit yourself in other realities you exist in. You'll see different versions of yourself walking around, and then you can just put your consciousness into that body, and you are that person. Like I was a super rich person, lived in a Trump tower that was super jacked and ripped, and I just threw my consciousness into myself, myself. And I was looking at myself. I was looking through my phone of all these contacts. I don't even know who the fuck these people are because I don't have those memories. It's just memories of this life, and I got to be rich for a day walking around. It was pretty cool.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, but then you have
Yeah.
other versions of yourself where you throw yourself into consciousness where you'll see, like, say your dad died in this lifetime, but he's alive in this lifetime, but you still gotta have conversation with him in that lifetime and talk to him because he's alive in that dimension, right? So,
Right. It all
or
makes sense that because sometimes when I astral project, I'm either in a different reality of the ET worlds, or mostly I kind of tune in with the Egyptian pyramids, and
oh
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
feel, yeah,
These are
crazy,
my
right?
pyramids right here, tattooed right on me.
So
I
I
was here.
see,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
here 70,000 years. So there was this thing on the mainstream media that came out. I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago. So about 3 years ago, I had a past life memory regression therapy. It was my first one ever did with this star seed who helped me. I wanted to remember a past life, and for some reason, as a child, I kept drawing pictures of the pyramid, and I kept drawing this Egyptian face all through elementary school and high school. And just kept I was obsessed with Egypt, and a lot of star seeds come from Egypt because we incarnated there in a past life. So I was in a meditation form, laying on a bed, and what happens is this woman makes you clean your mind so it's clear. There's no thoughts. And you have to go through certain steps of like going through this lifetime, past another lifetime, all the way to where you were incarnated as Egyptian. And I remember I was telling her, so what happens? These images pop in your mind. They're the memories. It's the first image that pops in your mind without thought. That's a memory. So I was in a wheat field, and the pyramids were just freshly built. They had the capstones, the golden tip. They were shine limestone, and I was wearing a linen white skirt, and I was brown skin. And I remember looking at the pyramids on a hilltop in this field. This child runs up to me, grabs me by the waist, like, I missed you so much. I don't know if it was my son or someone I helped. And then the woman asked me, she's like, how long ago is this? And just the number in my head popped 70,000 years ago, or Earth years. And then she's like, what do the pyramids look like? What are they doing? The pyramids are a energy, like they get heated up from the sun. They're just power plants, and they transfer power to all the obelisks where people plug in for power. Like Egyptians had power, and they just recently proved that the pyramids have all these types of acidic to them, where they had water in them, where they were actually maybe power plants. And then someone just came out with a theory that maybe the pyramids, they had some backdating done on some stuff there, that the pyramids are actually 70,000 years old. And I knew about this number a year before they even said this because it was just a past life memory. Because the pyramids were built by the ancient builder race. They weren't built by humans at all. And the pyramids are actually the Egyptian culture is built all over our universe. It's all over. That's just like there's pyramids on the moon. There's pyramids on Mars. Like I remember past lives where humans were living there, and the Mars atmosphere got ripped off with the Pleiadian wars. And there was pyramids and Egyptian statues everywhere, and people were dying of disease and starvation when this happened. And then some of them flew to Earth for salvation, or at the time, what was Earth's name? Tiamat. And I have all these memories of all these past lives, and I've seen these places, and I've never seen them in this life, so I know that they're memories, right? So
Yeah, that's probably just like I've always seen either pyramids or like of like an Egyptian life. So when my first awakening was actual seeing an actual figure type of thing. And the image just like zapped and came to my head. So I'm going to show you this picture. I know it might look like a bit like Avatar, but I don't know why this come to my head. So it looks like this.
That's who? What's that race called? The Lemurians, or is it Lemurians or Lemurians? I can't remember. It starts with L. Lemurians. They're blue. They look like Lemurians or Lemurians.
Lyra?
Lemuria.
Yeah.
So it's a race of
Lemurian, yeah.
It looks like it's a race of being that looks like the movie Avatar. But the beings, the ones I saw, they don't have any mouths. They don't have any. They're just telepathic. So before I was awakened, a Lemurian experience. So I was about 24 years old. I was not awakened. I have no idea what aliens are. I don't know what spirituality is. Nothing at this point in life. I met this girl on a dating app, and she comes toward my house, and she's like laying on my couch or just talking, and she's like, "You want to feel my blue skin?" I'm like, "Blue skin? You have? You're white." She's like, "No." She was a Lemurian sitting in my fucking house. Wow. And I met her off a dating app, and she's like, "No." She grabbed my hand. I felt her skin. It felt so smooth and so silky. So it didn't feel like human skin at all. And she's like, "I'm a Lemurian. I'm just projecting myself as a human being right now in front of you." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you?" I have no idea. That was my first alien experience I had in my house. And it was like, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm from Lemuria. I just came here, to experience humanity. I'm just walking amongst you." And then I had no idea what the hell she was talking about. And then we never talked again. And then when I was awoken, a couple years later, and then started seeing aliens again, and I was like, "Whoa, I had an alien experience without even knowing she was an alien." It's so weird.
Yeah, so like for 2 months between that, so I started seeing like images, and then they keep sending me like images of like how they were being raised. So it's pretty much like the Avatar movie. So I don't know if I'm just thinking that, but like they were just showing me how they live in the jungle with like the rainforest and stuff like that. It's so
I'll give you some information here to help humans out. A lot of what people see in movies today are actually full disclosure. So Avatar, I'll give you a list of movies that you need to watch: Star Wars, Star Trek, Avatar, Alien, Prometheus, Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis. Those are TV shows. All of the Marvel movies, all of Captain America is pretty much full disclosure of World War II.
What about Jupiter Ascending? Because I'm fascinated.
Jupiter Ascending is probably the top of the list for full disclosure. Yeah,
I love that film, and
that is pretty much what the universe is to human. They just thought the characters a little bit different. So what they do is all these movies come from full disclosure, and no one sat there and wrote up Star Wars in their fucking imagination, or Star Trek. Star Trek is probably number 2 on the list.
Thank you for saying that.
For Star Trek is probably number 2 on the list. It's actually based on the secret space programs. It's actually based on USS Enterprise, like different spaceship names. It's based on what our technology is today. And Star Wars is actually full. Stargate is full disclosure. Yeah, Stargate. I was obsessed with that show as a kid. SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. Yeah, those are all full disclosure back in the 90s. But Star Wars was full disclosure of an old war that happened probably 100,000 years ago in the galaxy. And Jedis are a real thing. Jedis do exist. In the secret space programs, we use weapons like the Jedis use what they call lightsabers. We call them laser swords. So it's like a handheld device about this. It looks like a rod, and you squeeze it with your hand, and it projects a red laser sword out of it. But also the bottom part of it, if you can point it like a flashlight, and if you squeeze it like this, it'll shoot out projectiles out of the bottom of it. I used that many times in the secret space program. A lot of us use the Dark Fleet for special ops. That's just a very main weapon that they use. The actual Star Wars destroyers, the triangle ships, are actually Dark Fleet ships that they use in the Nazi groups. That's all full disclosure.
Have you watched the film called The Valerian?
That's pretty good. Valerian's pretty good. There's lots of full disclosure about dimensions in there. So, like, how they're walking in that sand planet, and they put on those glasses, and they see another dimension. That's really full disclosure of what our universe is. It's layers. Universe is built within universes and layers of frequency of vibration. So that's really full disclosure on that one. Yeah,
I'm
so it's just like,
obsessed with that film. Obsessed.
yeah, a lot of people say when we talk like, oh, you're just getting it from movies. No, I know movies get it from us. Like even George Lucas said he was in a coma for 6 months and he had a download for 6 months of Star Wars. And when he woke up, he just started writing scripts of everything he saw in his dreams, right, of memories. And
Wow.
and the guy that made Star Trek, he recently came out saying that he got all of his information from like the CIA. The CIA actually funds a lot of movies to bring out full disclosure. So like a lot of full disclosure is in video games with kids nowadays because they want to pre-program you at such a young age that
What they
aliens
see,
are
yeah.
real. So
Yeah, yeah.
when it actually happens, like the biggest full disclosure one that I saw recently was probably Prometheus. That was huge. Or
Wow.
they call the aliens the engineers, and they were talking about the Anunnaki actually. The Anunnaki are a group of aliens that created mankind 1,000 years ago as a engineered race, and our consciousness comes from source, but our bodies are just genetically engineered, and they are our gods. You know, that's what they picture themselves as.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
They were becoming awakened to that they weren't our gods; they were just our creators. So God is actually these bodies are actually genetically designed to serve higher beings. That's why we have a feeling or a serve mentality. It's like Christianity or Catholic, they are like, we need to serve God in heaven. It's because you are a slave, right? But that's just programming, genetic programming in your DNA that you need to get rid of and you need to evolve out of. Because that's what the aliens put into your mind. It's just like programming a robot to be your slave, to serve. You're just putting in all these coding. So they put DNA coding in us to serve them for the last hundreds of thousands of years. That's why if you go back in time, you see Greek gods, Egyptian gods, you see all these gods. They weren't actually gods. They were just, gods is actually plural, so there's more than one god. It's just the aliens that came here. And the Bible's actually just like a documentary of interaction
What's
with
happened?
aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and Hindu culture actually came out where they declassified the religion as religion. It's actually just real events with aliens, like Vishnu and all those beings are just aliens that came here from space and walked amongst humans for a long time. And he was just served them because technology is just another word for magic back in the day, right? So,
That's so crazy because like I don't know why, but when I'm astro projecting, I'm always getting synced in with the pyramids, Egyptian worlds, and then but also Petra, you know, Jordan.
yeah.
That's a mystery. I don't know why, but every time I'm projecting that, it's always sending me to like, you know, the doorway of where they carved of the stone, and once they will always want to take me through that door, and I'm always so scared to go through it. But one time I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna not be scared and go through it. And they were just giving me all these information about how the world makes sense and how everything was created. I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like I've never seen anything like it. And then because of that, this image came to my head. You can see that.
Yeah.
Like it's like almost tell me like that's the queen.
Oh,
It's
that's cool.
weird. Like I don't know what it is, but it's telling my head like that's the queen, that's the queen, that's the queen. And then it tells me like she's here with her guard, and that's her guard.
Okay, I'm going to show you guys something here that always pops up in my head here. So every time I did this buddy James Ring, who's a super soldier, will contact me and he'll do I'll ask him to help me open some memories up here. So what he'll do is he'll do some guiding for me. I need a guide on these journeys. And what he does is he does this. So this is our mission. I don't know, a lot right now. I've been seeing the number 66, order number 66. And that's the activation code. I see the number 66, 26s probably 30 times a day on my cell phone. Like my battery life says 66. I'll scroll down 66 Avenue. Like it's weird. And I'll Google what this means. Like it's an angel number. What it means is trust in divine. All your daily needs will be met, but you need to start your activation like you're being activated. Your mission here is being activated. So it's time to get going. So then every time I close my mind and I do past life regression therapy or I visit Egypt, this is the image that pops in my mind. So we'll go with the top image first. The top image is just a picture of a pyramid, and that's my all-seeing eye, the third eye above the pyramid.
Yeah.
This is how the aliens will speak, and they'll give me that image. That this is the image of the control system of the slave system we live in. You know, where all the slaves down here, the rich live up here, the all-seeing eye, the Illuminati, right? The cabal. Then they'll project this right after, right? This is the control system being broken. The Illuminati and the rich people, the elite, are being knocked off of our control system, right? That is constantly the images of metaphors. Obviously, the images are a lot nicer looking in my head, but that's just my drawing. But that's what I get. That's what I get all the time. Then I see 666666. It's my activation. And if I get too sidetracked, if I be too human, like I go race my motorcycle too much, or I go hang out with my Earth friends too much, I get too human. I'll see 66 even more. Like it'll just pop on my screen like kilometer 66, and it's just weird, and it's just I need to be focused on what we're doing right now. This right now is fighting against the control system, because we're awakening people up and getting people awoken. And the images like these Egyptian gods will always visit me. Anubis and Horus will always come visit me, and they will always go on top of the pyramid. They'll rip the all-seeing eye off of it and
That's
off the
so
pyramid.
cool.
Right, and that's a metaphor. That's the metaphor I have to translate into human understanding and thinking, which in my translation says, it's time to knock the control system off. It's time to start the revolution. It's time to start the positive revolution and get this going. Because this is our incarnation, our only purpose here, our only mission here, for all of us. Like you're awakening now. There's so many awakenings happening like around me. Like I hear human beings starting to talk about this. I actually hear on our radio stations calling it, this is the Draconian control system. Like you have news broadcasters saying the word Draconian on live TV. Right, I'm like, holy fuck, it's happening,
so
right?
crazy.
It's happening. This is a reptilian controlled world,
Yeah.
the Draconian system. Your running mates are just Draconian puppets, and it's like, what the fucking politicians are talking about Draconian. Like, so the awakening is happening on a very fast level. If you see human beings talk about that shit, you have to also, you can Google this guy. Google or YouTube Paul Hellyer. Paul Hellyer was the defense minister of Canada in 2004 for a couple of years, and he resigned, and he did a public hearing at the Congress, I don't know, it's not called the Congress, whatever Canada is called, hearing in front of all of his government officials, and he talked about this stuff. He said, I was brought preview information that we are controlled by these beings called the Reptilian Draconians, the Greys, or the Anunnaki, and that he was privy to information of what they do to us, food source-wise and slave force-wise. And he's a defense minister in Canada. He's the second most powerful person in Canada. Today, he's the highest politician that ever came out full disclosure. You can YouTube it. It's all over YouTube. It was about 12 years ago where he came out full disclosure. He talks about Pleiadians, Nordics, Reptilians, Draconians in a hearing with on live TV. This was like shielded 12 years ago from live TV. It's just all over YouTube. You can Google it. And
I'm surprised they're not taking that down.
Yeah, it's still on YouTube. And he's like, he talks about he's like, after learning about most things, I just want partial full disclosure come on, because I don't think humans are ready to really learn full disclosure. Because full disclosure, like when I talk to some other Instagram people in here, like I'll go real deep, and like a lot of humans cannot handle the truth, what really goes behind the scenes of actually how fucking how evil this world is and what humans do to each other. And like you're walking over Central Park in New York for 50 years and don't even know there's little kids being trafficked under there, and that just got full disclosure. And in California, all the underground bases in California of all these child trafficking rings in the United States alone, and it's even bigger in Europe, in third world countries, especially Kuwait. Almost the entire country Kuwait is just an underground base of pedophilia and sex slave rings. Especially in there's a massive one a super soldier found in Thailand. He said under Thailand there's these series of caves and doors where he was sent on a mission, and he was put into a child avatar like I was in Kuwait, and he was purposely kidnapped by these traffickers to be brought into this underground city. And it was a series of doors and like super advanced technology, like energy doors that you have to type in codes to get in, and you get in, and then there's this underground base where it's like as big as a city with skyscrapers, and it's just a slave city. There's kids chained to walls and being auctioned off by all these rich millionaire and billionaires that keep the city as like a private thing for them to do whatever they want. It's like a city within a city of the world. And he finally got it brought down, but they had to kill, millions of humans. And what happens when the kids are rescued from slavery, like the ones that are born into it, it's just like they can't really save them. They have to kind of like put them down because they're so fucked up, so conditioned that
horrible.
they're scared if they release these kids into society that they'll start having kids and doing to their kids. So it's just like a dog that has rabies. They put them down. So
it makes me feel sick, to be honest.
But that happens on our every day, and that's the politicians we vote into office, and that's the world we live in. So if we don't stand together as humans, it's just going to keep happening every day. Just like Woody Harrelson said on a Facebook live chat once, he said, "We are the problem. We're the humans that don't stand up and do anything about it. That's why they keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
The food we eat, the McDonald's we keep buying, they're not going to change shit until we stop eating it and say no more, right? So." It's got to happen on a faster pace because you have to remember there's millions of children under there crying for help or don't even know what freedom is, don't even know what decision making is, don't even know what cartoons are, they just know sucking old guys off is a real thing and that's the only thing to live for. So.
One of my friends asked about sleep paralysis. What's your thoughts on that?
What, sorry?
Sleep paralysis.
Oh, that's a good one. So sleep paralysis is actually when you've been kidnapped or abducted by alien race. They have this technology where they shoot this.
Hold on a second. Is that legitimately what you just said then?
Yeah, no, so what it is, it's a memory of not moving. So what happens is when you're being abducted is they have this energy they shoot into you, which freezes your body to tell your body to move. And so you're stuck, but you're screaming in your head. A lot of people with sleep paralysis will feel themselves floating off the bed and you'll hear someone in your ear talking to you like a really evil fucking voice. Yeah. I've had sleep paralysis where I was sleeping in my bed. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was frozen in my bed and all I felt was something come through my front door like a dark, I call them dark archons, they're shadow beings. It rips into my house and just like jumps on me so I couldn't move and I'm just like frozen. I'm screaming. I'm so scared. I just tried shaking for like a good 40 seconds. Then he finally flew off and he disappeared. But all the hair was up on my body. I was just like, my heart rate was probably 100 beats per minute. I was just like, holy fuck. And I slept with my lights on. I couldn't go back to bed. And I was just like, I was sleeping in my bed, trying to go to bed. I couldn't sleep. And then I've had sleep paralysis where you feel like you're laying in your bed, and you just fell 60 feet and you can't move and you have beings whispering in your ear. And I had this sleep paralysis where my mom was coming over to my house at 10 in the morning. I knew that the night before. I was sleep paralysis. My eyes were open in my room, but there was no one there. I could feel beings. They're probably cloaked. And then I hear a voice in my fucking ear say, shit, his mom's here. We got to go. And then my mom knocked on the door and she opened it with a key and walked in and these beings disappeared and I was unfrozen. And I heard that voice say it to my head. I was like, holy fuck. And tried telling that to your mom. There was someone in your house. She's like, well, where is the person? Like, mom, like they have this technology they can walk through walls. Like, and they're cloaked, right? They don't have to be around you. I've had handlers stay in my house where there's a cloaked being sitting in the corner of my room and it's talking, but you can't hear anything, but you can see the light pigment move when it's moving around your house. And it's just laughing at you and it's going into your mind and torturing you and stuff with this technology they have. And, yeah.
My friend said, how would you stop sleep paralysis?
Pardon?
How would you stop it? Like, yeah, how would you prevent it from happening?
No idea. No idea. It's above my pay grade.
I'm gonna have to stop drinking this water because I really need a wee again. So, can you answer some questions? So I'll be right back.
You feel back to me again?
Sorry, yeah.
Jesus.
I know. I drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Okay, I'll answer some questions while you go. Happened to me seeing a cat at the end of my bed. Scary. Thought in my gap was haunted. Tell me if they're gonna abduct you like a whore. You give $3 for a good meal. I have a big sesh on MDMA. Oh yeah. So Rowan Nightingale. When I used to do MDMA, I used to have that night going to bed, like after the bender happened. This was like 6 years ago. I'd have really dark experiences because drugs are designed to keep you in low vibrational frequency. So when you do a vendor or drugs or even drinking, it actually lowers your vibration. So you're so other lower dimensional evil beings are attracted to you, right? So that's when you have really bad experiences. And K Booty is laughing. So what I was just saying is that people are messaging about when they do drugs, like that night or the next day, they have really dark experiences. Is drugs are designed to keep you in a low vibrational frequency, so you project low vibrational energies, and it's also negative energy if it's harmful to you. So low vibrational negative entities are actually attracted to you, right? So every time when I was a drug addict, when I did drugs, like especially MDMA, that night or the next night, like I'd have the worst experiences. Like I would be on a planet killing people or vampires massacring villages or dark archon experiences, like just attracted to me, right? So
what about ketamine that somebody said about ketamine?
I've been sober now for 6 years on everything. I don't do any drugs, but I used to be a huge coke head for 7 years, and then I had my awakening, and then I got sober. A lot of starseeds that I have met actually come from severe drug problems because drugs dull down your psychic ability. So like, there's a place. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, and I'll go walks amongst the poor in Hastings, and there's a lot of starseeds that are poor and that choose to live on the streets and do a lot of drugs. And I'll walk up and I can tell by their eyes they're not from this world. And I'll just walk to them like, hey, what world are you from? They're like, how the fuck do you know that? I'm like, I can see it in your eyes, bro. I'm like, why are you doing drugs?
Wow.
And doing drugs? Like, a lot of these starseeds will do drugs because their psychic abilities are so fucking powerful that they do drugs that dull the mind and dumb their senses down so they're not so sensitive to these energies. Because they rather do drugs and be drugged out than feeling all these attacking energies from all these other beings, right?
So if you stop drugs, could stop sleep paralysis, asking for a friend.
So is that what you're trying to others that do drugs?
Yeah, it say like if you stop doing drugs, would it stop sleep paralysis?
No, not at all. It's just more prone to them, right? So like negative beings are only attracted to negative beings because they are on a third dimensional, fourth dimensional frequency. You're on a third dimensional frequency, so they can more entwine with you. If you're at a higher frequency, like you're a sixth or fifth dimensional, because you're so positive, loving, they can't connect with you because they can't reach up there because they're so low vibrational themselves, right? So
yeah.
So the more positive and loving and happy you are, and the way you treat others, if you serve people and don't serve yourself, you are more of a higher vibrational being, and other high vibrational beings will contact you and have loving experiences. So these beings can get a hold of you, right? So you'll never win a military battle against these are billions of years much more advanced than you are, so you will never win. But you can win in a spiritual battle that you don't have to be a part of them or live in the same universe as them.
Does drugs not enhance the abilities of like your psychic abilities or not, or does it?
So
it's just a no-go.
We're talking drugs. Psychedelics aren't drugs. Okay, mushrooms isn't a drug. Acid isn't a drug. Those are all. Ayahuasca is not a drug. DMT is not a drug. Weed's not a drug. Those are all natural. Those are acid's not natural, but those are all things that have been around for thousands of years. Like Indians used to use ayahuasca and acid to just open your mind and rewire the brain so you could have all these other dimensional experiences. I personally did DMT, but I'm already awoke as fuck that like DMT did nothing for me. I had no experiences on it at all. I just sat there. I was like, and everyone else was tripping out, seeing other beings. I was like, because I call this right now, this state of mind, my off time, because when I go to bed, this mind goes to millions of different universes, and I'm gone for years or weeks or months at a time, and only 6 hours will pass on Earth. So I come back with like years.
Yeah.
And I have to
is LSD the same thing? I've never done. I don't know what LSD is.
I've never done LSD. I've done mushrooms. Mushrooms are help with depression, microdosing. It's a natural thing. I know alcohol is the worst drug you can do, for sure. Well, it's not a drug, it's a booze, but it's one of the worst addictions you can have.
Yeah. I went to a festival last year, and my friend said, "Oh, would you like to try some mushroom?" Like, I don't like trying drugs or just trying them anyway, because for some reason my head's gonna tell me that it might go bad, whatever. It's just a common sense thing. So then I kind of like just thought, oh, I'll go with it, I'll try it, because my other friends are like into spiritual and they take it for, I don't know, stress relief or to meditate or to connect with the other world and stuff like that. And the first time I took mushrooms, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like what you see, you know, like what's that film called where with Johnny Depp in it, where they have to take loads of different type of drugs and they have like hallucination or something like that. And it's exactly what I thought mushroom would be, is what you see in the film. It's ridiculous.
The movie Blow?
Is it Blow?
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. But yeah, it's just one of them, like, but I've only took it once, but I've never done it again, because I don't know how to feel about it, but it was nice.
So let's talk about feeling, because you were quite worried about your friends seeing this Instagram because of seeing who you really are.
Yeah.
Don't ever be scared of who you truly are. Always don't be scared be more scared if you're still asleep and brainwashed and controlled. You are a light bulb around your friends, because it's your job to wake them up and give them the thought in their head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
some of my friends are having a breakthrough, but some of my friends are skeptical.
Now,
I'm not
boyfriend
forcing anything on them. Pardon?
Is your boyfriend awakened?
He is, but not spiritual way. He's more in depth with politics and more woken to how the system works and everything.
So your boyfriend is human then?
I think he is, but I'm kind of believe he's a Pleiadian in a way, but he's not yet there to believe in all this.
How old is he?
He is 35.
Oh, and he still hasn't had his awakening yet. I've seen some starseeds have their awakening even in their like 50s and 60s. So yeah, maybe we'll have this. Are these all your friends on here? Iowa, Sarah, and
yeah, Wallace, Kyle, Hall, Anthony, Roland.
Homer is definitely not human. Homer, is that your boyfriend's name?
Homer, yeah. And Danny's my friend as well. Hi, everybody. I keep so doing funny. This. That's mean I'm reading your comments. So, but we're getting going. So, like, no way is Homer human. No, Homer is far from a human. He's so intelligent. How am I not a human? That's my boyfriend, right?
That's your boyfriend right there? Oh,
yeah. He's really highly alert and aware. He's really, really clever with all technologies, and he's really into politics. He's fully aware and awoke about what's going around him in the world. But I don't judge him, because he fully supports and understands what I'm going through right now and what I'm trying to experience. But he doesn't understand the depth of how we are communicating right now. But he completely accepts where I am today. So, but he are into a lot of things that in a different way. Basically.
Yes, so it's like so I've always told my mom when I was awakened, I always told mom, like, yeah, you're not really my human mom, like my human's mom is a Draconian, but you're my earth mom, and I love you, thanks for raising me. But then she was so like against this stuff for the longest time. She had no idea what I was talking about. She was like so human, so close-minded. Then my mom had her spiritual awakening probably a year ago now. Now her house is covered in stones, and she meditates, and she remembers past lives. She was a Knights Templar in her past life, and she told me her Knights Templar's name. And she was a man in her past life. That's why she has such male energy in this lifetime, but she's a female in this lifetime. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that why these transgenders people are changing the sex?
Well, so what transgender or gay people are is just a feminine. So say a gay male is just a female soul incarnated into a man's body, right? And there's nothing wrong with that at all. And transgender, that's just different energies being into that body, right? So
Wow. Yeah. There's a lot of that in Thailand, I'm telling you that.
where are you guys from?
Actually originally born in Thailand and I moved here 20 years ago.
Are you in
Um,
England?
I'm in England right now, yeah.
Oh,
But
cool.
I was born in Thailand, yeah. So I was like I was born and raised in like a third world reality. So where I was basically raised in a farm that we had particularly no money or anything like. So we kind of grow our own crops. So my family now is a really big number. So the rest of my family who still live in Thailand, they still do farming of tobacco. So we grow tobaccos every season, every
Okay.
harvesting, and we grow rice as well, and we grow watermelons, sweet corn, all sorts type of things. So, and then we kind of trade it to overseas and stuff like that. So, which is really cool. So it's kind of nice that I had the world of nothing to live as I was a child, and then I had the opportunity to move over here as my mother remarried to a foreigner, so like a Englishman.
Yeah.
So then I've kind of grew up here since I was 9. So I kind of had both experience of life, so which is I'm really grateful of, really, to be honest. And then to be awoken into this world, I'm like, what? Women's, because they are come across the fuck is going on. It's like 3 different worlds going on off right there. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of like quite proud of how I am right now, to be honest. Yeah.
I have some friends that are from England that live here in Canada with me, and they have really heavy accents. And they will take me to an Irish bar in Vancouver, and they will fight amongst the Irish, like the English and the Irish will
Yeah.
always argue and fight. I'm like, what the hell is this about? They're like, oh, it's just back home history. We don't like the fucking Irish here. I'm like, I'm half Irish myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating, because going back to like the transgenders type of thing, like it's so many of them in Thailand, and everyone, all my English
Oh,
friends
those
like
are
keep
called
asking
lady
me.
boys, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So all my English
met a
friends
lady
ask
boy
me like,
once.
why there's so many of you? So I'm like, how the fuck do I know? I don't know. Is it something in the water? I never thought Thailand would be so corrupted, but it is starting to be more corrupted, because our original king, the 9th king, who's passed away 2 years ago, he is very, very good king. Basically, he did everything for the society. He even took the time out to go visit a small farm village just to sit there and have a cup of tea with them. Like, you wouldn't see the England of Queen doing that. Like, you wouldn't. So that's why
Thailand has a king?
people.
I didn't know Thailand had his king.
Yeah, we are a
Oh,
kingdom. So we
Thailand's
have
a kingdom. Wow, that's something I never knew.
yeah, yeah. So if there's a royal family live in the country, it counts as a kingdom. So we still have his son now took his throne, so he's the 10th king in the line. So he's 60 years old, to be honest. So he's quite old, but they've got like really big family of royalty. But a lot of Thai people who were like sort of worship the royalty because they've done so much for it. But his son now, who is the new king, is not really look up as much as his dad, because they're not the same. They're not the same type of people. Do you know what I mean? They still do the same thing, but just different. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the one thing I never knew. I thought Thailand was just a dictatorship, but
No, we still got royal families and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of lady boys. I have a lot of lady boys who actually live in Leeds in the UK with me now, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic. I don't look at them like they've changed the sex or anything like that. I just seen them as beautiful women, because they are come across as a really nice person, as people. I'm drawn to bubbly people who have positive energy and vibes. So if they come across to me like they're gonna be negative, I just completely immediately just don't have a time for your life. Basically, I just don't have time for them.
I met a ladyboy once there. I couldn't tell the difference. Yeah, they were very, yeah. I was like, wow, you're prettier than most chicks. I was like, wow, good for you.
Yeah, I don't know if they do it in Canada or America, like, but in UK, a lot of ladyboys from Bangkok, they do like touring in Leeds. Well, not in Leeds, sorry, in UK. So they just come
I
once
love
a
the word
year.
Bangkok. I think it's funny.
Yeah, everyone just think like Bangkok, like bang the cock or something.
Well,
Like,
there's like ladyboys are saying there's the reason why they call it Bangkok, not Bangkok, right? So.
Oh my god, I've never kind of like saw it that way. That's just like I can't.
Who is this
I can't
LL
think.
Gross person? She keeps commenting about you. Is that your friend?
Your mates with me, Pompi. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, because I'm walking, talking, positive tree. Yeah, that's why we are friends, Hall.
Is your friend Paul?
Hall. She called Hall, but she's got her name's called Lol. Call her Lol.
Paul.
Hall. Yeah. Well, it's Holly.
It's English?
Yeah.
You guys have such crazy names over there. Pompi, Paul, Kala, or Paula.
Homer.
Homer, and then Homer is the most whitest name ever.
He's actually called. Oh no, I'm not gonna say because nobody knows.
You guys have such exotic names, and he's Homer.
Imagine that's his last name, so I'm gonna be called Homer.
Homer.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I would just so my questions for
we got 6 minutes left until this.
Yeah, this will be the last question. So like for me itself, like I'm kind of like a new beginner in Starseeds. So if anyone out here in the comments or who is gonna see this video, what advice would you give to a new beginner of Starseeds that have just come like awoken to this?
Okay, this is a message even from my star sister that lives in California. She's starseeds that are awakened, don't ever be scared of who you are. You need to be who you are. There's a reason why you were chosen to be awakened. Not all starseeds are awakened. A lot of them just die and reincarnate. It's your job to be who you are truly and get rid of your human side dies off. What mattered before doesn't matter. And when you become your true self, you remember your name, you know where you're from, what species you are, blah blah blah, and you're traveling the multiverse. It is your job as to be the teacher. And there's a reason why we're spread out all over the world. We're not all in one place. We're all over the world. Like most people around here, all of my friends that I talk to are in different cities all over the world, and we all feel like we're all alone because we're not around other woke people usually. And it's because we're spread out to teach. And when full disclosure starts coming out, which it is, it's our job to show the way and be the positive revolutionaries. It's our job to teach humans that the revolution isn't going to be guns and killing people. It's going to be positive, loving, and hugging, and just awakening the spirit and love. Right? You can have a positive revolution with making people so aware, so awakened, with such proof of knowledge that their hearts grow so much that they drop what they're doing that's negative, and they turn into the positive revolution. And that's the world that we have to turn into, and that we have to have loving for all species, not just humans and each other, all species. You don't kill a bug, you help it go somewhere else. Like that's the being you need to be. You need to try really to go vegan or grow meat. Just don't kill it. And then anything that has a negative action has a negative reaction. The universe is like a battery of ascension. You want to be positive, you have to be positive all times to ascend to the higher dimensions. If you want to be negative, you're always going to be, you do negative things and negative actions, you're going to have negative reactions. So people go fishing or, eating McDonald's, or, they're eating animals, and the abuse that comes from that and the negative abuse. They're like, oh, they're just stupid animals. Like, well, Draconians think you're stupid humans and they eat you anyways. They don't give a shit about you. So it's the same thing, right? Like, you can't pick on the Draconians if you're not going to pick on your own species, right? At least Draconians, they believe in loyalty and love amongst their own species. They're like, the difference between humans and aliens is aliens would never allow their brother or sister to be homeless on a street, shooting up fucking heroin, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Draconians, reptilians have way more values than humans do. They actually fight for each other and believe in loyalty and bloodlines and family, and fight for each other to the death. And human beings, maybe they were just monkey see, monkey do. They were just, generations of shit turns into shit. But it's time for the change. To break the old chain, you must break the old chain to start the new chain, like, of life, right? Like, if you come from a family of alcoholics, you need to stop. You don't drink and break that chain so your kids don't have that abuse in their life and don't see that from you. That's what we have to do with our society. And start asking questions and start having these conversations and these talks. And the star seeds, it's your job to not be shy and lead the way. And, like, you'll get laughed at first. 10 people will talk to you. Maybe 3 will listen, right? But at least those 3 people start listening to you, and you woke them, and you start knocking their dominoes. I've had conversations where they message me 7 years later, and they're like, dude, that conversation you had with me 7 years ago completely was a domino in my memory, and I started to awaken up from this planet, this, and this, and before that conversation I was completely human. Thanks for waking me up. And now they go awaken 10 more people, and those 10 people wake up 10 more people. It's just like a domino reaction of awakening. But then it's come down to teaching and leading by example. And there's tons of star seeds out there that are full view, like especially some celebrities are full star seeds and aliens in full view, and they're leading with their music and rebelling against the Illuminati control.
Yeah, I completely fully support Chris Brown. He's well off there. And I've done a post about him, and everyone's thinking, no, he's not, like all this, but yeah, he is.
And here's the biggest lesson of all humans need to understand. Your universe is about forgiveness. If you walk around in this life with negative, the Illuminati sold us off and, killed my brother and sister, and I need revenge, then that's just negative fighting negative 24/7. There's no positive reaction or positive timeline that's going to come from that. So you have to teach it with forgiveness, but you don't have to accept it, but you can move on from it, right? So that's the worry I have with humans when they start finding about all these underground sex slave rings, and they want to rebel in a negative way, which just creates a negative timeline. And they need to rebel in a positive timeline, not a negative one. Because we don't need to. There's 66 million starseeds incarnated on this earth right now, and I'm pretty sure 66 million of them want to go back home. They don't want to keep incarnating here. So.
Yeah, great. Well, we've got 1 minute left, so I just want to say thank you so much, Joel. You've sort of answered everything that I wanted to, tell myself that crazy, basically.
Yeah, no,
so I can keep carrying going to this journey. I'm really thankful. I'm really emotional. I don't want to cry.
It's okay. We'll do another live chat soon, and
I really appreciate this because it's been a long journey. I'm really crying, but yeah. It was a happy tears. And thank you to all my friends who's tuned in and everything. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Remember, light and love, all right? So it's good that you have emotions.
Yeah, and we'll do this again.
Yeah, we'll do this again. Talk to you later. See you guys.
Follow
us both on Instagram. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, bye.